And good morning. Blessed to be a part of your day as we honor the veterans. Veterans Day tomorrow. Many people off today. We are taking your calls about the issues that matter to you. By the way, the K-Millie Christmas cash code word is photos. That's right. I'm sorry, not photos. That was yesterday. Dollars. Dollars, not to be confused with photos. Dollars is your cash code word today, brought to you by EGT Solar, the Treasure Valley's Solar Authority. Listen today at 3:05 for the latest cash code word from our friends at the Sean Hannity Show. And remember, type in the cash code word at KIDOTalkRadio.com, and you could win up to $5,000. That's right, up to $5,000.
Help! I've escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement! Help me!
A tragic story, a tragic secret that apparently has been going on for many, many years in Hollywood. With us now, our great friend James Herson to discuss. Mr. Herson, thank you again for joining us once again.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Kevin?
I'm such a big fan of yours. You've covered Hollywood and the culture for so many, many years. Let's just start with your thoughts on everything unraveling. Going to jamesherson.com, Hollywood Unravels.
There has never been a scandal that impacted the entertainment community, the entertainment business, and I've been covering it for almost 2 decades like this because it hits into something. Michelle Pfeiffer used the right word when she described what we're seeing, what we suspected, but what is being confirmed, and that is there's a systemic evil in Hollywood, and we have to distinguish this because, so many people have used the term casting couch. And casting couch goes all the way back to the origin of Hollywood. Marilyn Monroe wrote about, she engaged in the casting couch knowingly. She performed what she described as a transaction. And the casting couch involved flirtation and misuse of power. But what we're talking about now in Hollywood is the unveiling of criminal behavior, groping, sexual assault, and rape. And that's why, according to reports, the person who was first unveiled, Harvey Weinstein, is going to be indicted in New York. There is also indication that there's a possible indictment coming from Los Angeles. There are investigations going on in London and possibly other parts of the world. I think there's up to about 70 powerful individuals in Hollywood who have been accused, in some cases, again, this criminal behavior, and others, we're talking about sexual harassment. But we also have a community that is playing public relations with this, which is a very dangerous game. And I give you the perfect example. Harvey Weinstein was kicked out of the 2 most powerful academies, one of which I'm a member of. He was banned for life by the Motion Picture Academy. He was also banned for life from the Television Academy. Well, the Motion Picture Academy, for sure, has kept Roman Polanski and Woody Allen, both of which are Oscar winners. Woody Allen won 4 as members. And Roman Polanski, as we all remember, the community of Hollywood gave this man a standing ovation. This is a person who pled guilty to sexually and criminally assaulting a 13-year-old and then left the country with his sentence pending, and has since been trying to negotiate to come back, but not be sent to jail, which I understand why he wouldn't want to be sent to jail. He's 80 years old. And, these kinds of institutions aren't kind to people that sexually assault minors. But the fact is, Hollywood has been a community that mocks ordinary Americans from so-called flyover country, mocks their faith, mocks their values, ridicules people with Southern heritage, and has rejected limitations. As a matter of fact, the patron saint of Hollywood is the late Hugh Hefner. And so it shouldn't be surprising that a society, which Hollywood is, an insular society that rejects any kind of traditional limitations, values, standards, would end up having some members of that community living without limitations, values, and standards. But it is shocking to see the high level. You know, I mentioned the Oscars. Accused now are Ben Affleck, Oscar winner, Dustin Hoffman, Oscar winner, Jeremy Piven, Emmy winner, James Toback, Oscar nominee, David O. Russell, multiple Oscar winner. It just goes on and on. And I mentioned Roman Polanski, Woody Allen are also Oscar winners. So while they knew what was going on, the Hollywood community, the elite in the Hollywood community, awarded accolades to these people. And the one that got them the most, Harvey Weinstein, because he holds the record of any executive in the history of entertainment. He ran a film, I remember, called Miramax for 15 years. During that 15-year duration, he received 250 Oscar nominations and 160. There is no executive whose company can match that record. That shows just how powerful this guy was. He was known as the master of the Oscar campaign. And that's why he thought he could get away with anything. And he did, because he was able to spike this story with NBC News and the New York Times. And the only reason that this whole thing broke open in Hollywood is because of one person, Ronan Farrow, young man working as an investigative journalist for NBC. And after his story was spiked, Ronan Farrow tenaciously continued using his own money to hire his crew and continue videotaping the women. So, and he brought it to the New Yorker, and the rest is history.
James Harrison joining us at KIDO Talk Radio. James, let's go back to Ronan Farrow and his dogged pursuit of this. NBC passed on it. There was a story in the mid-'90s that was spiked by the New York Times. Now the disclosure that Harvey had hired Mossad agents to intimidate reporters, lawyers to go after people, to sue them personally. This guy was a bad guy, and Mr. Farrell was, it seems, the only one that would stand up to him.
Well, this is, it's Shakespearean, really, because I mentioned Woody Allen. Now, Woody Allen was accused in a very messy breakup with Mia Farrow. He was accused of molesting a 7-year-old, and he did, in fact, go off with his adopted daughter. And he treated Mia Farrow abysmally, no matter how you look at it. And reportedly, he left lewd pictures around the house. And in that household was a 5-year-old boy. His name was Ronan Farrow. And ironically, and maybe not so ironically, this Shakespearean story of, Ronan Farrow grows up, and perhaps he remembered this. Woody Allen's career was virtually over because of the scandal that occurred when all of this came out about Mia Farrow, Ronan Farrow's mother. And his career was over, but was resurrected due to one executive in Hollywood, and that executive was Harvey Weinstein. And so I think Ronan had a little extra motivation here, but it's really a kind of an amazing story. It really is. And of course, Ronan Farrow, there's that other thing about him. He's a dead ringer for Frank Sinatra, young Frank Sinatra. And now Mia Farrow is suggesting that that's a possibility. Before, she was denying it. But he certainly does. It doesn't appear to have the same DNA as Woody Allen.
James Harrison joining us here. Kevin Miller in the Morning, jamesharrison.com. Let's talk about Kevin Spacey.
Well, Kevin Spacey, this is, I think, almost this. A lot of people said there was another shoe that was going to drop. And Kevin Spacey is the other shoe, because the first accusation against Kevin Spacey was, in fact, assaulting sexually a minor. This is same-sex assault of a minor. And what it did is a few things. One is we watched Hollywood act in an unprecedented way to distance themselves from Kevin Spacey. Because Kevin Spacey managed to offend a very powerful part of Hollywood, which is the gay community. Because confronted with his accusation, he issued an apology that was joined with him coming out. I think as some spokespeople in gay organizations said, he was trying to use the rainbow shield. And apparently there is no rainbow shield because, gay organizations have fought for decades not to associate homosexuality with pedophilia. And then essentially Kevin Spacey did that. So it's just an example of how Hollywood is distancing themselves. There's a movie that's going to come out in about 3.5 weeks called All the Money in the World. And it's essentially a biopic about J. Paul Getty. It's also about the entire Getty family. But Kevin Spacey's in a starring role in this movie, and it's already in the can, meaning it's been shot, edited, ready to go. I mean, they might put some final touches on it. And here comes TriStar Pictures. And I've never heard of removing a star 3 weeks before the film's going to come out, doing it digitally and editing and reshoots, and they're going to substitute Christopher Plummer. I'm sure they've done a very good vetting, extreme vetting on Christopher Plummer to make sure he has no problems. And he's going to be the star of this movie, which I assume is a fairly decent budget. And, obviously people that back the movie would like it to be successful. And this is an attempt at saving the film. And I think the studio mentioned, a studio spokesperson, which is true, motion pictures are a collaborative effort. And there's literally hundreds of people who hang their career on the success of the film, both, behind the scenes, cast members, technical people, and the studio's trying to save them from the taint, if you will. The other thing about Kevin Spacey is it has focused the spotlight more on Corey Feldman and others who've been alleging that pedophilia, this is almost unspeakable to talk about, but that pedophilia is part of this problem of Hollywood lacking moral restraint, and that there's a ring essentially of that. And there's been, and a big filmmaker, Bryan Singer, has been accused of this. And of course, Corey Feldman has started to name some names, and associates of Corey Feldman have brought Charlie Sheen into the mix in this area. And then, I want to mention, because I can't, as a conservative person, talk about all this and not bring up Roy Moore, because he's being accused. And I would draw a line here, and that's the distinction is that Roy Moore is a candidate for an election that takes place, ironically, in 3.5 weeks when the movie's coming out. And we have seen a pattern over and over again. You used to call it the October surprise in presidential elections. We saw it with the confirmation of Clarence Thomas. We saw Anita Hill come forth. And we saw it in the last presidential campaign with Donald Trump. These accusers being trotted out at a strategic time before the election. That requires greater skepticism and greater scrutiny. I think the White House has reacted perfectly with a twofold approach, and it's these two statements. One accusation from 40 years ago should not destroy Roy Moore. However, if it's true, he should drop out.
James Hurston joining us here on KIDO Talk Radio, jameshurston.com. Finally, what do you make of Bill O'Reilly?
Well, I have difficulty being objective with Bill because I know him. I've been a guest on his show over the years. I actually have gone out to dinner with Bill. I personally never saw any of the manifestations that would lead me to conclude that, Bill O'Reilly was some kind of a predator or sexual assaulter. But I do think the thing that's so unusual with what happened at Fox News, and that I really wish I knew more factual data about it, but when all of these settlements involving Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly and others took place at Eric Bolling, it was when there was a changing of the guard of the ownership of Fox News, where the sons of Rupert Murdoch were taking over, James and Laughlin. And I thought one of the things that was so ridiculous from the point of view of any company was that the amounts of money that they were settling for, and those amounts were made public, which is never done. When somebody settles a high-profile case, there are the most binding non-disclosure agreements that a lawyer could ever draft. And I know this because I'm a lawyer and I've read them. And for them, I mean, when you think of the two big amounts that were disclosed now, one was Gretchen Carlson. That was, I believe, against the corporation. I don't think Bill O'Reilly was even a significant player in that lawsuit. But that was a $20 million settlement. When that was broadcast, all of a sudden the floodgates flew open, and there were a lot of people that had accusations. I would suspect that some of them were trying to get money, and especially if they had Gloria Allred or Lisa Bloom as their counsel. And similarly, this last one, New York Times broadcast that Bill O'Reilly had settled with Lee Wheel for $32 million. This is, you contrast that with Harvey Weinstein. We find out he had 8 settlements. They were as low as tens of thousands. And as maybe 6 figures, the low 6 figures was the highest number. So I don't understand exactly what went on there, but it does seem like it wasn't handled in the normal fashion, and that it appeared as though there was a bit of animus from, at the corporate level for Bill O'Reilly and for his approach to broadcasting. And if you look at Fox News today, if you look at the entire lineup, not just the primetime lineup, the Fox News of today has moved significantly towards the center in terms of his programming. Sticking out, of course, from that bunch is Sean Hannity. But the rest of the programming has moved considerably. And there are times when you can't really tell the difference between, say, Fox News and the broadcast media. So I do think that the two sons have had an influence.
James Herson, jamesherson.com. Thank you for joining us. We always appreciate your insights on culture and entertainment, sir.
Well, thank you so much, Kevin. You have a wonderful day, and same to your listeners. And by the way, happy Veterans Day and happy birthday to the United States Marine Corps Semper Fi.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Our great friend James Herson. And yes, always around Veterans Day, the birthday of the Marine Corps. Hoorah. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget Miller's mission, give a turkey, don't be a turkey. The Walmart in Nampa will be living there thanks to Camping World, the Boise Rescue Mission, and Team Mazda Subaru will be collecting turkeys to feed Treasure Valley families this holiday season. Won't you join us and make a difference? If you can't make it to Nampa, you can go to any Walmart and ask for a Hope Starts with a Meal turkey buck thing, and for $15, you can feed a Treasure Valley family at all Walmarts. Thank you, Walmart, along with our partners at KTSY Radio. Again, Monday going to be a big day, but we'll be living there once again, and looking forward to hanging with Terry and Tea Party Bob and our friend Ted and others who give so much. You're the real heroes of the Treasure Valley. Our job is to thank you and really provide the platform to make a difference. Time for traffic and weather together. Our time is... And let's go to Pro-Life. Pro-Life, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. You know, I've been thinking about Roy Moore. He didn't marry until he was 38 years old, and it seems to me that he would have dated a lot of girls between, when he first started dating and 38 years old. And if he didn't do anything sexual with any of the other girls, and there's a lot of girls that he dated that are not saying anything right now, it seems like that would show that his pattern was not to do something sexual with girls. And, I read the Washington Post description, and they said that quite a few of the younger girls, they knew that Roy Moore, the mothers knew that the girls were going out with Roy Moore, and they approved because they thought he was a good catch. That's what one of them said. But anyway, it'd be interesting also to know how long the Washington Post has held this story. I think they've held it for quite a while, but I don't know for sure. But I like Roy Moore, and I hope that this is not true. And so anyway, I'd vote for him anyway if I lived in Alabama. So that's all I've got to say.
Well, you don't live in Alabama.
Yeah, I know, I don't.
So why does it matter?
It really does matter because Roy Moore is the most constitutionally oriented politician that's achieved any kind of office in the United States. He's better than Rand Paul. He's better than Ted Cruz. Anybody. He's better than Mr. Labrador. And so we need an example.
Wait a minute.
Like that.
How did that come up? How did Congressman Labrador's name come up?
Well, he says he's a constitutionalist. They all say they're constitutionalists. I was listening yesterday to the radio. They had a candidate for Congress on there, and he said that he quoted the 10th Amendment.
You really don't need to be, you're outing yourself listening to that jabroni. You know what happens when you listen to the jabroni, you become a jabroni.
No, you don't.
Oh, you're a cheating heart, I'm just saying. Those, something, I'm trying to be like my brothers and sisters here in the Treasure Valley and be a nice person and not say anything mean, which that doesn't happen over there, but I'm just going to let that one go, little buddy.
Well, when you're trying to tell the truth like I am, you have to go wherever you can go.
I'm with you, but, I'm a big loyalty guy. It's probably my number one thing is loyalty.
I'm loyal to you. I love you. This is the best. And you tell your network managers there that they need to just get a bunch of stations in Idaho and have Kevin Miller on every part of Idaho. If you live in Idaho, you can hear Kevin Miller. That's what I wanted to have.
Well, that would be nice. Thank you.
Yeah. More people need to say that to him.
Well,
anyway.
You can always give him a call and ask to speak to the big boss, Kevin, and let him know. He likes feedback from listeners.
All right, I'll do it.
All right, and tell him who you are. Tell him you're pro-life.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell him I'm Kevin Miller's one of his favorite guys.
So back to Roy Moore. Thank you, pro-life, by the way. Do you it's all in fun, these conversations we have, because some people get mad at me for saying that to you. So, again, I hope you know this is all in jest, and I know I'll be seeing you at our friend David Ripley's Idaho Chooses Life banquet as we see you and Mrs. Pro-Life every year. But I don't think this is going to impact that race. I think that Doug Jones is a liberal. He's been a liberal his entire life, and in the end, besides the Republicans and the Democrats not wanting Roy Moore in the Senate, he will win. I've covered Roy Moore. I know Roy Moore. I don't think this impacts that race at all.
Well, I don't think it does either, but it's a mark against his. Well, here's what I believe about all of this First Amendment freedom. The First Amendment freedom of speech does not give you the right to lie. And we have had no punishments in the United States for a long time for lying, except under oath. And people sometimes even lie under oath and they don't get punished. But we need to have serious punishment for people like, say, if the Washington Post is doing this and it's wrong, they're lying about it, well then, and the girl's lying about it, they all need to get punished real seriously.
But what if she's not lying about it?
Well, and Roy Moore gets to be punished. I mean, hey, it goes both ways.
Thank you,
But
sir.
we don't. All right, we'll see you later.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you. Let's find out what's happening in your world. Good morning, Maggie. We go to Allie in Caldwell with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Allie.
Well, good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad.
Good. Well, I sent you the email, and I think you got everything I'm about to read to you for the Veterans Day celebration ceremony here in Caldwell at their brand new Caldwell Veterans Memorial Hall at 1101 Cleveland Boulevard, which is only one block east of 10th Avenue. There's a Walgreens on the corner on the right-hand side, and up a block will be the new Veterans Memorial Hall. Their services start at 11 o'clock in the morning. Mayor Nancolis will be the main speaker, and a beautiful singing group from Caldwell High School called the Madrigals will be singing special music. There'll also be a barbecue afterwards that's put on and sponsored by the Elks Lodge of Caldwell. And then they'll have a tour of the upstairs of the building for anyone interested in seeing what they've done. There is limited parking around the building, which I feel needs to be saved for the disabled. And there are 2 banks close by you could park in, and a block south you have the Caldwell Public Library and the Senior Citizen Center that have a huge parking lot that join each other, and they're going to be closed on Saturday, the library.
That's reassuring.
Yeah, it is. But I don't know. This is just very, very important, and if they would like to go to the website to see what has been done, it's CVMH, which is Charlie Victor Mike Hotel -vets.org. And all of this they have refurbished with grants, donations, and people buying things for them. It is just turning into a fantastic place for our vets. They work closely with the Veterans Center in Boise. They'll have a lot of counselors and all kinds of things. Just come and find out. And if you're a veteran, please do come. And make sure you wear your veteran's hat. You've probably seen me going around. I have my black army jacket on, and Kevin, you know who I am now that I've said that. And it's my daughter's jacket.
I'm with you.
Okay. And what I do is not only, I'd like to see other people doing this too. I not only go up to a vet and tell them thank you, I ask them if I can give them a hug. And I haven't been turned down yet. And that just makes me feel so good, and I know it does them. So if anybody needs to, could you put that up on your website, on your blog, or on your Facebook page too?
Wow, Allie. Now, let me tell you something. You've got my email. Can you send me all that, and I will do it?
I did last night. You should have a new one.
You know, you're one squared away troop.
I am?
You are.
I don't know about that. I'm very, very shaky right at the moment.
No, I don't think so. You're squared away.
Well, I got all the information from the secretary of the group. Her name is Debbie Geyer.
I will. I have it right here. I will put it up for you.
Okay. See if T-Barty Bob would put it up, or anybody else that has a web page or anything. Put this info up.
That Tea Party Bob, he needs to take direction, so you give it to him.
Oh, I tried that last year when I came out to visit with him. It didn't work.
Well, I'll give him some direction from you.
You know what? Tell Miss Cindy that I hope she shows up, because I'd like to meet her. We could get our heads together and yeah, well, that's what we could do. So.
All right, Allie, I got to get going, but we will put this up on our website and Facebook.
Okay, great. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for getting a hold of me.
I'll talk to you later on in the week.
I'm a slippery character, but thanks for getting a hold of me.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. And we're joined by the lovable Sweet Prince of the Treasure Valley. Say it with me now. Tea Party Bob, publisher of the Gem State Patriot, KIDO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. How are you today? End of the week for you.
Well, the week really, the News Watch never stops for us news hawks, just like you.
I just wanted to take a minute this morning on behalf of the Gem State Patriot and our staff to say thanks to all of the veterans and the men and women who are currently serving in the military for their service. You know, we should always keep in mind that without their sacrifice, we would not have the freedoms we have in this great country called America. And I'm looking forward to visiting with you next week at the Garrity Walmart for your annual turkey drive for the Boise Rescue Mission. Actually, I just want to come down to see whether that turkey outfit still fits you or whether it's getting bigger.
Actually, it's not. It's rather looser. If you look at our two videos that we just put up, it's actually put on a couple pairs of clothes underneath it, so people don't get a free sample like they have in previous years. We've had to. So
you're back on your way to becoming thin.
You overemphasize my sidebar thing, but no, I've baked my chicken and I'm ready to go. I'm enjoying a week. I'm going to enjoy a week of salads at the.
Between you and I think we're going to run this whole state out of chicken.
And actually, I'll be the only time I will leave the Miller One position will be to go to the gym, and I think this year I'm actually going to go in the overnight hours. As opposed to going in the afternoon. So,
well, I'm going to miss you down at the Axiom, my friend. I'm just going to miss you there.
You can join me at 3 in the morning one day if you want.
Oh, no, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, I need my sleep.
By the way, thank you for your service and, what it means to you today.
Well, it's kind of hard to say that the years that I spent in the service were over in the Far East. During the Vietnam War. They weren't very glorious. There were just too many dead bodies coming back. A lot of friends that were lost. A lot of friends who are still hurting because of all of the problems that they had over there with the Agent Orange and what have you. Nobody really understands what it is or what it's like to spend 2 years or 3 years or 5 years in a foreign country fighting an enemy and dealing with the day-to-day interactions that go on. Do you actually experience it? You don't understand what it's like. And I don't think most people, when they say thank you for your service, it's meaningful, but it's hard to conceive of what it's really like to be over there or to be in danger, or to know that, yourself or any of your friends could be gone.
Here's something, and to the people that have served in peacetime, being away from your family and having a Thanksgiving meal with, folks that were your strangers, were strangers to you just months ago and now are closer to you than your family. Going to the mess hall on Thanksgiving or Christmas or guard duty.
There's just something not right about eating off a metal tray on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
And, God bless them because they're so young. My mother actually found my picture of me when I was in boot camp or basic training, as we say in the Army. And my wife is going, you were just a little kid. And we were all little kids.
That's funny because I enlisted while I was still in high school.
You and me both. Yeah. you and me both. When I was 17, then.
Yeah, you had to get your parents' signature
right.
then too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kevin, we're just a couple of old guys trying to make our way in life.
It's like the Dukes of Hazzard. Yes.
There you go.
You can be Luke. I'd like to be Bo.
You're the Duke, buddy.
I don't know who'd be Uncle Jesse. Maybe Steve Ackerman.
Yeah, either that or Liberal Steve. He's old enough.
I will see you soon, Tea Party Bob. Thank
Have yourself a great day, Kevin. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning. And hopefully our friend security guard Mike is listening. Happy Veterans Day to you, sir. And we're going to do something unusual. You would usually do this on Veterans Day and Memorial Day. We share with you a song. And this one by our friends at Big and Rich. Now, remember, Memorial Day is we honor people who suffered and who gave the ultimate, that died for our country. Veterans Day, we honor the people that served and have lived. And just our way of thanking you for your service. And to all our veterans and their families and those that continue to serve, that continue the American tradition of sacrifice, of duty, of honor, of country, of our greatest nobility of sacrifice. From us here at KIDO Talk Radio, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for your service.